we have done so many other things in the stimulus bill. Now, I know it's tough economic times, and I know here in Whatcom County especially, I mean, if you were listed as a county instead of, I mean, listed among all the states, because our state average for unemployment is probably only about 6.1 to 6.5, but if Whatcom County was listed as a state, you'd be right up there in the top 10 states in the country with unemployment. So I know we're getting hit hard. And it was so important for us to pass the stimulus bill so that we could get some assistance on the kinds of economic activity that Democrats have wanted to see. We want to see an investment in infrastructure so that we can get our economy going again. We wanted to see an investment in education so that teachers weren't laid off, and so that we actually did fund special education to the level that it needed to be funded. We did want to see an investment in energy and the energy infrastructure so that we could plan for more renewable energy for the future. We did want to see the investments in healthcare IT to improve the quality of healthcare. And so that stimulus package, while it's still being implemented, and I've been at 2 meetings today here in Whatcom County to talk about exactly how people are going to be using those resources, I can tell you it is going to have an impact on getting America going in the right direction. And that's what a Democratic administration has been able to do for us. And so I just want to thank all of you here in Whatcom County from the bottom of my heart for your hard work in the last election cycle and helping get Democrats elected at the national ticket, because we have more work to do. So thank you. We're still short a colleague. Now, everybody knows here, I got elected because Whatcom County came up with the last votes in a close election, and I only won by 2,239 votes, and it was Whatcom County that helped put me over the top. And after our governor's race, I thought there's no way that you could possibly have another close election like the one I had or the one she had. But wait until you hear what Al Franken's doing. I hope that when we get back in April, that by the end of April, he will be joining us as the 59th member of the United States Senate in what has been a battle of battles to make sure. They didn't count the absentee ballots like we do here. They waited for a process of canvassing and the courts to then decide after the election had been certified. We never certify the election until we actually count the absentee ballots. So anyway, the rest of the country is catching up with us. And I think he will be a great United States Senator. But the challenge is, we still want to move forward on transforming our economy. And I can tell you this, as hard as I fought against the manipulation of Enron and getting a new bill and legislation passed, I am not going to rest until we have new regulatory reforms against the financial hypocrisies that have been caused on people in this country that are part of this economic downturn because we allowed an industry to go unchecked. We need to reform our banking and regulatory system in the United States. It's going to be a battle. It's going to be a battle even with our colleagues, because some people would like to just move on from this situation. And I think that there are still things that we need to do. It's important to look back, as some columnists have written about. It's important to look back and see what went wrong so we don't do it again. Yeah. And if you look at the impetus of what happened here, post the Depression, we implemented the same kind of rules on financial structure called the Glass-Steagall legislation that then were repealed as part of the 80s and 90s, and it's no lack of correlation there that we're now in this mess because we allowed those regulations to disappear. So it's very important we go back and review this. But it's also important we move ahead. We move ahead with healthcare and providing healthcare and getting access to healthcare, and that's something here we've been talking about today in Skagit County. And it's important we move forward on a new energy economy. We cannot afford to see gas prices and oil go to $140 a barrel like we did before. We need to use this opportunity to get off of those fossil fuels and onto new energy sources that really can help our economy grow. And I know that can be a reality. Yes, clap for that. legislation called a cap and refund bill. It's not a cap and trade bill, it's cap and refund that puts more money back into the pockets of individuals instead of saying you're going to have a large trading platform that might be circumvented by the same kind of financial tactics that were just used in the futures market before. And we're going to continue to work on healthcare. Right now I serve on what's called the Finance Committee, and they have oversight of part of the healthcare reform. And what's really important to me is that we make some efficiencies in healthcare just like we have here in Washington State. I don't know if people know, but we actually have one of the lower utilizations and better outcomes of healthcare. And yet we get a low reimbursement rate. I actually think you ought to reward people who do a better job. And so our challenge now is to get the whole country to move towards that system, to say that our reimbursement rate ought to be the basis of what the national system is at a time when we have more and more people reaching that retirement age. And when I myself, Patty Murray, and others served in the legislature, we reformed our long-term care system so people could stay in their homes longer instead of going to nursing home care, and created a whole new industry on home health care that didn't exist before. That's been a great boon, and it has saved Washington State millions of dollars, and if the federal government will implement that, it will save the federal government billions of dollars. So I'm going to be fighting for those two things to help improve the quality of health care in our state. I'm going to stop there and just take questions from you guys on anything you want to talk about for a little while. But I do want to say, I know that we are happy that we have our numbers in the United States Senate and we're in control. But it's going to be a tough battle for us. I want to make sure we do everything we can next year to re-elect my colleague, Senator Murray, to the United States Senate. Across the country, some of the most, you think, well, all you need is one more seat, and then you'll have a 60-vote, proof majority. But the fact is, we have a lot of people running next year that come from very expensive states. New York will have 2 Senate races, the new senator and Senator Schumer. Florida will have an open seat. California, Arnold Schwarzenegger might challenge, Barbara Boxer. Illinois, the seat where to replace now President Obama. It's going to be, 2010 will be a busy year for us. So I just thank you in advance for all that the great Democratic Party of Whatcom County does to help Democrats and to keep our party strong and to keep us moving forward. So it's great to be home, and I can't wait to hear what you guys have on your mind. So thank you very much.